Hi, welcome to Steph's World. Uh, Number 20, Spiritual Foundation. Okay, hey, happy Halloween. And for you guys up north, I am so sorry. I really am. Um, this one's going to be a spiritual one. I thought about doing a different kind, but no, I think we need spirituality right now. People are, I've got somebody trying to get me online, and that's not going to happen. So we're going to shut this off, guys. Sorry about this. You know, I love you, but when I'm doing these YouTubes, you got to leave me alone so I can, you know, get them done. So that's what we're going to do. Leave me alone so I can get them done. But, okay. Yeah, let me shut this off. Yep, there we go. Alright, now, anyway, sorry about the inconvenience of that. I am really into YouTube, okay, or to Google Plus, and I have a lot of friends in Google Plus, and I'm really excited about that. I'm so grateful. It's beyond words, and I love all of you. And I just left my neighbor's house to give her children their little gifts. Now they're so little that they just you can't give little tiny children like this, candy. I'm sorry. And I'd be afraid to give them candy anyway. They're just too tiny and too little and just the sweetest little things in the world. And I got pictures of them. So one of these days I'm going to get them scanned in and put out. Unless they put me in jail for making these YouTubes. Joke, 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 joke. Okay, I'm going to tell you about when I wake up in the morning. All right, I don't look like this. Okay, see these? They're false. Yeah, I can't sleep with teeth in my mouth. All right, that's not advised. Ill advised. So when I take these out, then I have this puckered up look. And someday I'll show it to you, and you'll be going, "Wow, is that the same chick?" You guys. All right, I want you to know the truth about me because I'm all about the truth. I'm not about crap, okay, or the wrong thing or the wrong message. I'm about the real message. And now, you guys, if you think you're interested in me, get over it. Especially you young men from over in Pakistan or wherever the heck you live. You're not, we're not going to get together. Okay? It's not going to happen. So the hanging out stuff, quit right now. That's over. No more of that. Every time I get one, it's just a nightmare. And, I know I put a few things out, but why can't I? Am I not allowed to show that a woman that's 59 years old can show beauty? Am I not allowed to do that? Although I don't think I did it inappropriately. Not at all. If Thumb or Thorn Button can put his stuff out, I can put my stuff out. Okay? Notice though I haven't seen much from Thorn, so I'm wondering if I'm still in this group, but no big deal. But anyway, I want to talk about a couple of things. We got into character defects on the last little deal, but now let's talk about relationships. Because boy, can I tell you about relationships, okay? Now, first of all, I'm going to talk about me and my relationships. Alright, now pay attention. Okay, now my first husband, I got married very young. I was just turned 18 years old. I mean, literally went from 17 to 18 and A month later, standing at the altar, a Catholic altar, by the way. Now, it doesn't matter what religion it is. At the time, that was what my future husband and his family asked for. Kind of surprised me, but I said, okay. Um, Truth of the matter was, I didn't want to get married. I had asked him, let's just live together. I would much prefer that. I did not want to get married. Not at all. And not to him. I got to be honest, deep in my heart, I knew I wasn't truly in love with this man. But I kept thinking, okay, well, maybe mom wasn't really in love with dad and she's still with him. So, those kind of thoughts go through your head. And you just tell yourself, well, and other older people, wiser people, you think they are at least, tell you, love will come, love will come. So I went ahead and did it. 3 weeks later, he broke my neck. Beat the living crap out of me. A few months after that, after I tried to escape, literally run away, he found me. And part of that was my fault. It was my own insecurity and believing him. They always are remorseful. I'll never do it again. They can bring on the tears and everything. It's wonderful. What actors, Really, Hollywood's missing some actors out there. But anyway, so he caught me in Missouri. I was with my grandmother. And there was no getting around it. We were going back to Chicago, and that was it. And that's exactly what we did. And when we got back up there, the car broke down on the way, so now we didn't even have a car, okay? That was gone. His parents, his mother and his stepfather came down and got us. We weren't that far away. I think about 3 hours away where it broke down. Okay, so we get back up there, and I'm stuck. I have to be at his parents' house or his mother's house, okay? Now, the mother, she's as tiny as me. She's a teeny tiny little woman. And she's as afraid of her own son as everybody else is, okay? She was scared to death of him. And her husband, he was a great big tall guy, but he was afraid of him too, because my ex-husband was a crazy man. He truly was. And he was so strong, I never saw anybody this strong and not even work out at all. Okay? Never. But anyway, he kept me a prisoner of war. That's what I call it. It's not a joke. It's a real thing. I couldn't talk to anybody. I was even restrained at times. I was beat up every day. No friends were allowed any communication with me. One time one did, and she got let know that the same thing might happen to her, and he may just come after her and beat the hell out of her without her even knowing it. That was my friend. He did that too. She never came back, okay, not until later after I finally escaped. Okay, every night, even after a beating during the day, every night I got told the same thing. You get the hatchet out of the little back room in the kitchen. Upstairs we would go with the hatchet, and we'd get up there and he'd go, well, tonight could be the night. I'm going to cut your neck off, cut your head off. Well, he already broke my neck. Of course, the good part was that the cord wasn't broken. And the only reason that didn't happen, even though I was a bobblehead for a while and I had to wear something to hold my head straight and let the discs try to reform themselves or whatever, heal up. But I never truly healed from that, see. That's why my neck is fused from here to here. I never really healed. And I was in super pain a good part of my life, most of my life, because of all the abuse that had been done to this little tiny body. And some of it I did myself. Anyway, that man, when he got me a POW, all of the I'm sorry's were gone then. He was never sorry then. Because where was I going to go? He didn't let me out of his sight. Ever. No phone calling. No nothing. My family was not allowed to communicate with me in any way. And my family was worried sick, but they didn't know what to do. Now you got to remember, I'm 59 years old. That was 40 years ago. Actually, even longer than that. Now, the police back then didn't try not to get involved in domestic affairs, okay? They really had a lot of rules about it. But one miraculous day, and I will call it a miracle, because he never would have let me do this normally. It was a beautiful spring day in the Chicago area. Early spring. Just one of those beautiful picturesque days that we hardly ever get early in the spring. And he goes, Steph, let's go up to the park. Of course we didn't have a car, so everything was walking. And remember, no jobs, because I was never let out of his sight. I mean, if he could leash me, he would. Trust me, he would have. I don't know if I was his pet or what. Never figured that part out. But anyway, and he had one eye, too, by the way. He used to bet it at the bar all the time. People thought he was joking. And he'd purposely lose so he could pull his eye out and roll it down the table or the bar. Yep. And then he'd take the eye, wipe it on his shoulder or his outfit here, and put it right back in his head again. And I'd think, my God, infection time, super infection time. So no telling what this man looks like today. And, back then, he really was a darn good looking man. He was a Russian. His family came from Russia. Now, he was an American, but his grandfather was a complete Russian. And his family were on the run from the Russian Revolution. That's how they came to this country. But anyway, never knew the Russians were so violent men, but this one was. But anyway, that miraculous day, he said, well, come on, let's go to the park. And, it wasn't that far away to walk to. And I said, blah, 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 and I don't want to say his name. It starts with a W for some of you who have been reading my story. I really don't feel good, so I don't want to go. And so blah, blah, blah said, all right, you can stay home. And I thought, oh my God, if there is a God, thank you. And now this is in my head, okay? And you got to remember, if there is a God, came from a young girl who just didn't have many beliefs in anything at the time. So many things had happened to me at such early ages that I just had no belief systems. Not real good ones, I can tell you that right now, okay? That had to come much later in my life, and some much big lessons had to be learned. But anyway, so he went off, and as soon as he left, I got on the phone. I'm surprised he didn't unhook all the phones and take them all with him, but he didn't. So I got on the phone, tried to get a hold of my father, couldn't find him, called my aunt in Oak Park, which is one of the parts of Chicago, one of the suburbs. And she said, don't worry, I'll get a hold of your dad. Don't you worry. So she did. And my dad called me immediately. They had the number, but they were never allowed to speak to me. And he said, Steph, I'll be there in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Don't worry about your clothes. Don't worry about anything. Just get your butt in my car the minute I pull up. That's how dangerous this guy was. You really need to understand the danger I was in. And when I say prisoner of war, I'm not kidding. This is no joke. And you little veteran boys, yeah, I know what it's like to be a prisoner of war. Don't ever think I don't. And I have some other stories coming up in part 7. Yeah, Steph made a couple of errors in her days, but it's a hard-headed year. Took a while to learn. But anyway, here's the deal though. I got away from him and I survived. Now I didn't survive this. That's been a horrible experience my whole life. I've had to live with serious pain. And I worked. I went to college and everything. That was a miracle of it all. But the real miracle was that God finally stepped in and separated him long enough from me to give me that chance and for me to take it. And I took it. And I never saw Walt. Or, oops, I didn't mean to say his name. I never saw him again. Never. After that. And I thank God every day for that. Now, here's the thing. I pray for Walt today. Yep, hard to believe, but I do. And I pray for any other man who has abused me today. I pray for them. And probably all those horrendous experiences that I've been writing about, and some of you have been reading them, probably made me a much stronger woman. I mean, look at me. I'm talking to you. I look normal. I probably look attractive to some men, but trust me, I have to use a cane to walk. And sometimes, just today when I was making the coffee, I lost all feeling in one foot. Totally gone. And I thought, I could just fall right now. So remember, this is a very sick woman. You just think she looks good, okay? But God's blessed me with a beautiful appearance, And I guess that's my spirit, my soul that you're seeing. It must be. It must be. Because I did put a little makeup on, but not much. I can't stand in front of a mirror very long because my body just cannot handle it. So, now I'm going to talk about letting go of people we love. I had my last boyfriend and I really wanted that to work. I was 50, just turned 50 years old, and he was about 2 years younger than me, and we had the same birthday. That was really cool, and we thought it was really cool. And I met him on matchmakers.com, okay? How are you going to meet a man when you don't drink, And I would never date any of my biker riding friends. Never. No. Never allowed. No. Well, as it turned out, wouldn't you know it, he had a Harley. Okay, so he and I did ride together, but long story short, it just didn't work out, okay? Now, when you date a person like me who was a computer programmer, you're looking for trouble, okay? You never, ever tell her your password. Never. But he did. So when we split up, and he never knew my passwords. Oh, no, never. I wouldn't tell anybody my passwords. Are you kidding? And if I made that mistake, I would change them immediately. Oh, no. So anyway, I probably could have gotten this password just programmably, I knew how to do all that. I have some encryption programs that we could have done it. Well, even though I was at a spiritual point, at that level. But I wasn't as spiritual as I am today. Today I would never ever do this. Well, what did I do? I wanted to find out who the new girlfriend was because I knew he had another girlfriend. You can sense that. You can smell it on him. And I knew it. And I accused him of it on our last date. I was so mad at him. I knew there was another woman, and I was right. There was. And he had been lying about it the whole time. Just lying through his teeth. I cannot deal with people who are going to lie to me. You either be honest with me or just we'll be friends and I'll forgive you for your lying, but that's about it. It will never, ever, ever, ever go beyond that. You have to be truthful, and I have to be truthful with you. It goes both ways. And I did a terrible thing that I did make amends to him. He never knew why I was making these amends. I didn't get right out and say, oh, by the way, I've been looking at all your emails for the last year and a half. Yeah, I did it. It was easy. The man didn't change his password. I'm sorry, and I'll be the first to admit it. Now, I was only 50 years old, and I'm 59 now, so that was only 9 years ago. That wasn't that long ago. Now, I believed in God, and I had my spirituality with me, and I had wonderful spiritual advisors. And of course, when one of them found out what I was doing, she said, Steph, stop it now. But did I? No. And she always knew I hadn't stopped it. She could always see it right in my face. Did you stop it? No. She goes, well, okay, you will one of these days when you're good and ready. She just let it go. But she gave me something very important. She gave me a lot of things, let me tell you. But this was something to help me get over him. And also, there was another man in my life for about a year that we got involved with each other, and it was well, we won't get into it. But anyway, I needed to get him out of my life too. It was an unhealthy relationship. I just never had luck with relationships, And one of the reasons, I'll give you a reason. Let's take a guess. Why? My choices. Yeah, that was it. Those were my choices. I made those choices. Steph did it. Okay. I want to read a couple of things. And once I get this read, I'm going to actually rewrite it in great big letters and then print it out and take some pictures of it and put it on Google Plus. Here's a little technique. It's a beautiful technique for releasing a love that has gone wrong. Okay? Still loving that human being, because we should never hate anybody. I don't hate, and I'm going to say his name because it's written, Walt. I don't hate Walt. Not one bit. I feel sorry for him. What a horrible life this man has had. So here's what you do. Go to the kitchen sink, take a cup or mug, one that may have been exclusively that person's, one that they use if you have one. Fill it to the brim with water. Visualize all your negative feelings surrounding that person into the water. As you say to yourself the name of the person, I'll say, Walt, I now pour you, as you're holding it and pouring it out, I now pour you out of my heart, life, and being. I pour you out with love. If you can't honestly feel love, then feel the love of God for human beings. Okay? And release you completely and let you go. You are free. I am free. You have absolutely no control over me, and I have absolutely no control over you. You are an individual, and I respect your views and opinions, and I know you respect mine. I accept the fact we are not meant to be together at this time. I give you space to live and grow, and you give me space to live and grow. We are both safe. I now release any or I now release any negative expectations or feelings I have for you. Any anger, resentment, jealousy, guilt, or hate. These negative feelings now leave my body. They have no place in my being. I am resigned to live my life without you. I accept your decision. I am at peace. You are at peace. To the good of all parties concerned, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, when the cup or mug is empty, just say, thank you, Father, for perfect peace. You may have to repeat this exercise for a week or more. Read your master affirmation before you empty the cup, and do as you empty the cup and as you pour out the water. Just keep repeating it, okay? This is called the healed relationship practice, okay? And in the future, there are two words that you should always say, like at the mirror, to yourself. Healed relationship. Healed relationship. Okay? This is very important. And it really works, you know? I have definitely done this with not just boyfriends or friends or anybody. I've done it with even my parents, and even at times when there were terrible ordeals going on in the family. I've had to do it with a lot of people, and it works beautifully. And I'm going to read you something else. Now, this is out called Alter Your Life by Emmett Fox, okay? And I don't know what page it is, but it talks about the great universal power. And I thought I'd do a little reading here. What we have usually been accustomed to call a genius is a man or woman who happens to have this faculty of contacting the great universal power. My point, however, is that it is possible and not even very difficult for the ordinary person, once he has become aware of the possibility, to begin to contact that power consciously and gradually transform himself into a genius. And by the way, this is a physical fact that you can change your level of intelligence, okay? We have that power. My IQ, as they refer to it, was very, very high when I was a child. They did a whole bunch of tests on me and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, my dad had great hopes for me becoming something great. Oh boy. But anyway, but then his daughter became a ride motorcycle crazy woman for a while. Okay? I learned a lot of lessons. But anyway, but you know, I have become What he dreamed for me, I have become that woman now. My dad loves me so much. He is so very proud of me. It's unbelievable. He knows how much pain I live in. He knows that he's amazed that I lost a child who I love so dearly, and I'm still functioning. Barely, but I'm functioning. Anyway, let's go on. Now, many people have always felt in a vague sort of way that something of this kind might be possible in the fine arts, but I want to stress the fact that the great life power is just as ready to help us in what we are pleased to call the prosaic, everyday affairs of our lives. Now, that's a wonderful thing to know. The reason for this is that from the point of view of that universal power, nothing is prosaic or pretty or mean so long as it concerns the lives of men and women. Emerson said, now I'm sure people have heard who Emerson is, right? Walter Emerson, great writer. Okay. Emerson said, man's welfare is dear to the heart of being. And in our today's world right now, that is powerful. Man's welfare is dear to the heart of being. Think about that. And that is quite true. The great universal power is always ready to come into your life. If you will invite it to solve whatever problem may be important to you, to overcome for you the difficulty that is worrying you. Even if that difficulty should seem to be rather a trifling thing to someone who is not concerned with your welfare. Right now, I have a case in mind of a woman who has for some time been making a handsome income as a dress designer. Now remember, he wrote this back in the 1920s or 30s, so this is a long time ago, okay? Her ideas are so original and so good that she has no trouble at all in commanding very high fees. She loves her work, and she would not change places, she says, with any man or woman on earth. Yet, only a few years ago, she was in great poverty. Can I relate to that? Now, I'm not rich, but I'm not in great poverty either. And that's all going to come out in my story. Keep reading it. Okay, so, and apparently there was no way for her to provide for herself and her mother, who was dependent upon her. Then she began each day to set aside a certain time for becoming quiet, withdrawing her attention from the outer things and inviting the power to lead and inspire her with necessary guidance. All of what seemed to be a hopeless blind alley. She told me that she did not find this an easy thing to do the first few days, because she was so worried by the creditors who were pressing her that it seemed very difficult to stop thinking about her troubles, even for a few minutes. She knew that it was absolutely necessary to do so, however, and she succeeded after the first few attempts, with the result that she first of all experienced a remarkable change in feeling. She became, the worry and fear went first. Good. And then she became aware of a sense of power and adequacy to cope with her problems. The day after this happened, when she was thinking of something quite different, the thought of a certain business acquaintance suddenly flew into her mind, as though, she says, someone had thrown it at her like a snowball. She felt satisfied that this inspiration had come, not from herself, but from it, meaning the great universal power of intelligence and wisdom. She went straight off to the person in question, and to her intense surprise, received an offer there and then, which at that time was a very attractive one for her. She thought she knew very little about dress designing, but she decided to put that problem too up to the universal power. She continued each day to contact the power in the same way, and day by day the difficulties as they arose were easily overcome. Then she began to go to the same source for original ideas to use in her work. Remember with her, all this had been very much of an experiment. And when original ideas began to arrive too, her career was made. Now, he gives more examples. Okay, he talks about an architect, same thing. Okay, same deal. Gives talks about an attorney, same deal. Okay, same great universal energy, same deal. And it's energy, power. Our God is an energy God. Okay, and this power, he says, this energy is there. It is universal. That means it is present everywhere, inside us, inside everything, every part of Earth, every part of our universe. And by the way, we've got some very strange things going on out in that universe. I haven't blogged or said anything about that recently. I'm just kind of waiting around to see what NASA says about it. Amazing things are starting to happen up there. Now, it is waiting at all times for men and women to call it out and to use for any good purpose in life. Now remember that good purpose in life part. Now I'm going to stop right there. It goes into stuff about things have been created and all that. And he also talks about the laws of nature were just the same then as they are now. Nothing has changed in our world except us maybe destroying it with some of the things that we're doing. And I'm not here to judge anybody. That's against the rules. But, we have to think about our work, this land that we live on, and what could possibly happen if we didn't have it anymore. But today the knowledge of the existence of this supreme force is being given to the people, and before very long, I believe many of the limitations and difficulties that people take for granted at present will be things of the past. Alright, now I'm going to stop there because here's the sad thing, Emmett. Unfortunately, that prophecy that he stated right there, I don't believe it came true. Okay? A lot of prophets, there's a lot of prophets out there. There really are, and even today, right now, people that you might not, in your wildest dreams, think it is a prophet, really is. They're telling you things that God is putting inside of them. They're spreading the word of God in their own way. But maybe you need to listen. It may not be your religion. So what? So what? It's still God. It doesn't matter. Man, and you may not like this, but man created religion. I am of God. I am not of religion. And I never will be. Now that doesn't mean I won't go to a church once in a while, because I have. when I'm up to it, when I'm physically capable. I love to go to services. I really do. I just find them invigorating, very invigorating. But sadly, my body just really isn't up for it, and it's difficult. And down here in the south, oh boy, you got to be kind of careful where you go. But anyway, I wish you all well. Happy holidays, happy Halloween. My son Matt, who passed away in late January 2011, he was in the Army. He's an Army hero. This was his favorite, one of his favorite holidays. He loved it. And Matt's flower has become even more beautiful, and I'm going to take a picture of it and put it online too. Oh, I've gone 40 minutes. I am so sorry. I had to read those things for you. I really did. So I don't care if you don't read this today, but I hope that at some point you do read and watch this, okay? Please. And I love all of you. I really do. And remember this. And I'm going to publicize this for all of you, okay? I really am. I think it's very helpful. And I have some young friends out there who need to really pay attention to my story about men who do things to their wives or their girlfriends that say they're sorry and then they go right back and do it again. And when they do it again, it's usually about 10 times worse. Anyway, I love y'all. Have a great Halloween. And I'm a witch today. This is the best I can do. I'm all black. Excuse my name, and I'm all black. Yep. Oh, I do have a low gray, but I'm a witch woman. I got this little cap with a skull and crossbones on it. I'm gonna wear that, if the kiddies come around. But anyway, love y'all, and till next time. Bye bye.